All right, welcome back to Forced Retirement Outdoors. Now, I know I'm in a kayak. I know I gotta share the water with boats, and most of the time it's pretty good, but sometimes you get what I like to call a bass hole. The whole ocean, you gotta get that close to me on a plane. So, you just gotta stick it out, ride the waves, pay attention, make sure you're not leaning too far one side or the other, and you'll get through it. Alright, so I got set up, found a nice spot out there with a couple bars. With the moving tide, it channeled some water, and threw out a Sandgnat Assassin shrimp in the Yankeetown mud color. It seems to be just doing great out here, and I was just kind of bouncing it along the bottom. I would switch up the speed now and then. As you can see, I just kind of let it hit the bottom, drag and bounce it a little bit, and this little guy decided he wanted a piece. If you're wondering why I reeled him in that fast, I just seen some dolphins real close to me, and they have no problem coming in and just snatching your fish right off the line. So I wanted to make sure I got him in nice and quick. All right, so I moved spots, dropped anchor, and decided I was going to try one of my favorite lures. It's a Rapala Skitterwalk. It's a topwater lure, pearl white, doing the kind of walk the dog action on the top. It doesn't take long to get a hit. Check it out. So I used the landing net here. I get him in the boat. He's definitely a keeper. But with the two treble hooks on that skitterwalk, it takes a minute to get him out of the net. So I just kind of cut that section out. And behind me, I've got my catch bag loaded with some ice. In the bag he goes. All right, so next spot, I decided to put a bait hook on. I hooked a ladyfish, and so I started using some cut ladyfish. That is one great bait for redfish. I saw this nice little island, decided I was going to give it a try. Let's see what happens. Now what I'm doing here is I'm using my fish grips, right? Little plastic kind of vice grip looking thing. Get it in the mouth, clamp it down on the lip. Once you get that done, you've got control over the fish, and it's really hard to lose them after that. So next up, I'm using a Yozuri twitch bait, suspending 6 to 8 inches, below the surface. Just kind of twitching it as I reel, and it doesn't take long. Once I got the fish up on the surface, I could see that he barely had a hook in his mouth. So instead of wasting time on the net, I just kind of flipped him in the boat. And once I did that, he went nuts and buried that set of treble hooks all inside of him, flopping around on my feet. I ended up getting the landing net and pinning him down so I wouldn't get hooked. Took a minute, but I got him. Sun started to come out a little bit. Saw a nice little mangrove island over here. It was kind of tucked out of the wind. Decided to go back to the Sandgnat Assassin shrimp. And as you can see, it didn't take long. Ends up being a little red. I knew he was going to be close, and if he was legal, he was going to be bottom end of the slot. It's not worth the fine to take a chance on it. All right, so made sure I get a little camera shot of him. Again, I got the fish grips. Man, those things are worth it. Keep good control of the fish. Keeps hooks out of your fingers. I grab my ruler. I want to make sure I get an accurate measurement on him. Again, it is really not worth the fine. Out in Ozello and Crystal River, FWC, they're out there a lot. I've heard a lot of people say they don't mess with kayakers. I'm here to tell you that is wrong. They will check you. So just play by the rules. Get him back in the water. Get some water in his gills. And he's gone. All right, so I'm back out on a grass flat, working the topwater lure in. And if you notice on this one, he hits it really close to the boat. So whenever you're working a lure, work it as close as you can. Oftentimes, they'll strike right next to the boat. So it's another good sized trout. It's definitely a keeper. I grab the landing net, get him in the net. Out on the kayak, once I get the fish in the net, I'll grab the reel, I'll flip the bail, let some line out, put the rod in the rod holder. That way the rod doesn't end up going in the ocean. And then I can just take my time, get the fish unhooked, get him taken care of. I don't have to worry about my rod anymore. Takes a minute to get the treble hooks out of the fish and the net. But there he is. Like I said, he's a keeper, so in the bag he goes. I didn't move very far. And sat out here looking for the next victim. So I was using a suspending mirror lure, and when this hit, something felt different. Pay attention to when you see the fish. I ended up doubling up on Jack Crevalle. So I had one fish on the front treble, one fish on the rear. Ended up losing one, landing the other. So you can see it here in slow-mo. There's two fish on the lure at the same time. Pretty cool. Jacks are always fun to catch. Not really that great to eat. You can smoke them and they come out pretty good, but most of the time I just let them go. But they are fun to catch. So I end up getting him in the boat. Again, it's not anything I want to keep, so I'll get him unhooked, get him back in the water. And this was the last fish of the day. So that's all I got. I'll see you next time.